probably will start the stream anyway. Like I'll probably like put a door on the side or something just so I can show it. So
Yeah. Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of mine and Foxy's new podcast. You'll notice that this is a ocean monument. You'll notice that this is a like a proper series on my second channel, like a proper weekly series that will have like a almost deadline, like schedule when it's coming out, rather than what I normally post on this channel. Which is kind of stuff like just random videos like the Stampy's Funland. Actually, no, that's not coming out yet. Right, there's gotta be Stampy's Funland episodes on this, but it's not gonna be weekly. It's basically gotta be like posted as soon as like we record them. But yeah, anyway, as I mentioned before, my other half during this podcast is going to be Foxy. Hello, Foxy.
hello.
So we were talking about something before. And I said I had something to contribute, so save it for the podcast. But what was it?
I don't know. We should probably tell them what we were talking about before the podcast, because I think they'll be a little bit confused otherwise. To be honest, I can't even remember what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Were we discussing? Like, I think we were discussing games, and then I can't remember what else we were discussing. Like, what were we discussing? Oh yeah, we were talking about like, I can't remember. I really can't remember. But whenever it pops up in your head, you'll have to let me know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit like a chat show, I guess you could say. But it's more just going to be discussing things that you could either not really talk about in like just a normal video, or say if we just have a really good idea for like a topic, like we could just like talk about that for as long and then change to a different topic. We will be doing like gameplay in the background, just so it's not like sitting in front of a black screen.
Yeah.
But we'll change every time like what we want to do. Like sometimes we might want to play games, sometimes we might want to go on a survival. We'll see.
Yeah. So at the moment, I've just kind of created a like a specific podcast survival world. Just in case we haven't got anything like in mind that we want to play, we can just say, okay, let's go on this world then.
Yeah. And we will try as well, like, we're going to try not focus as much on what we're doing. Like, think in a normal video, of course, you talk about, like, what you're doing. In this one, it's going to be kind of the opposite. We're going to try talking more. We're going to focus more on conversation than gameplay.
Yeah.
It's basically what we're doing. But we are going to, like, there will be, like, we might occasionally, like, talk about what we're doing. It depends.
Yeah.
Especially for, like, we're playing, of course, sometimes we might have to, but we'll see. So,
yeah. Oh, well, yeah, if we're playing like servers or, I don't know. Have you got Halo Infinite?
I don't have Halo. I used to, but I don't. I think it's on one of my old Xboxes.
That's like the game I play like when I'm not recording. If I'm just kind of like bored, I just kind of load up Halo. But like I used to, like when Lovely World was on 360.
Yeah.
I used to I used to love Halo Reach, and like, that those servers would pretty much always be packed. But those servers have been taken down now. But so I moved to Bedrock just in time. They were like, the Xbox 360 Halo servers are being discontinued, after this date. I was like, woo, okay.
So, yeah. I also realised I said one of my other Xboxes. I've literally got like a 360, and that's it. It's like, it's
one
in terms of like other consoles.
Oh, like, I wonder which Xbox it's on. It's not like a hard search, is it?
True. I'm just sorting out my connection, if you're wondering where I am. Basically, like, the connection just went down for me, so it's having like a lot of problems. So how's life anyway?
It's treating me moderately. How is it treating you?
It's been okay. So I've been pretty busy today. Like we tried doing some stuff earlier, and then the Wi-Fi went down, and
Not just the Wi-Fi.
yeah, well, we won't go there. So, but basically,
The vamp.
yeah, we've had lots of different problems, but hopefully, it should be fine now. So, yeah, I'm currently just eating food as well at the same time because I'm hungry.
Charming.
I'm
Yeah.
just hoping that my connection's going to work for me.
I have sent you an invite.
All right. So, what do you want to talk about on this first podcast?
Well, the reason we started this at like right now was because like we were talking about something interesting and it was going to develop into something else. But we forgot.
I think were we talking about, because I know we did we played one of the games in the Funland series, and we were discussing something. I think I was explaining how to play something, and then you were like, actually I think I can do better. And then like I was like, well, it took me this long and it took you this long, and then like you were like, we should talk about this in a podcast, and I can't remember what it was we were talking about.
So like I think we were just because in sorry in some of like the like streams we do together or like on your streams, we end up just like jumping round, like when you're building,
Yeah.
we end up like idly jumping around and stuff. So that's kind of when I mentioned, we should do a podcast, because like some of the like videos, because there's videos on the main channel that we've done together, and we'll just be chatting away, and we'll just like gradually move on to topic, and we could be there'd be like there's that one like video that I did almost as filler, and we just went round and played like a bunch of the mini games on 360. I don't know whether you remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we that was like the first like inkling. I thought, oh, we should do a podcast, because we just kind of like I can't remember, it was the parkour one of Stampies, and we were just kind of like jumping around, playing, and then we'd be just like chattering away. Then randomly, just one of us would go, "Oh, I won, by the way," and we'd just get like engrossed in the convo.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I can't remember what we were talking about. Like, the thing is like you talk about so much, it gets hard to like keep track of what you have talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we were gonna. So I kind of, I'd love to know what we were talking about. I've got it there in my head, and I just can't like think of what it was. But like I know that we were. So of course, like we do build quite a lot of games, and we do design quite a lot of games. I think, like, definitely, I think we could both agree. Like, I think
too many.
Terms of, I think we do build too many games, but I think we can also both agree that definitely we haven't like just like we didn't just wake up one day and like think we want to build a game. Like we were influenced like in some way to build games, and I think we can both agree that I think Stampy was a very big influence for us to build games. Like I think some of my games, like it's quite like a joke at the moment, but like a lot of the games are kind of like similar in some way to some of his games. I don't mean for them to; it just kind of accidentally happens.
Well, because Stampy's built so many games, I mean, it's hard to like not build a game and someone go, "Oh, that's like Stampy's." It's like, well, which one?
Yeah, I mean, I've played. So there was a map that I remember a couple of years ago. There was a big controversy because it was a popular Momo's video.
Oh yeah.
He played through a map on Java with his girlfriend, and they were playing Stampy's Sheep Shuttle game, and he had it in the thumbnail. and someone sent it to Stampy and was like, "Oh, look, someone's playing your game," and Stampy kind of responded by saying, "It's great that they're playing my game, and I have no problem with them building it, but I would have liked more credit for the game. Like, I wish there was a sign somewhere saying that I built it," which there actually was at the very start of that mini series that Popular Memos did. But the problem was that it didn't tell you what games specifically were his and which ones were unique ones.
Yeah.
And I think it is important, like, like if someone was to rebuild one of my games, I have no problem with them building it and playing it. It's just if they are going to try and make a video on it for for commercial purposes or whatever, I'd like them to know where they got their sources from. Because like as you said, like it's so hard to come up with ideas and to do something without someone else saying, "Oh, well, you've copied this, or you've done like this." Like, like of course, like there's always going to be some similarities, but you've just got to try and like remember that at the end of the day, like there's so many people playing like Minecraft, it's hard to do things that are different. I mean, I came up with an idea for a farm. I came up with an idea for an automated sheep farm, and I'd never seen anyone do this before. And I remember I came up with the idea of like an observer would detect grass when it's eaten, then shear the sheep, and then a hopper would pick it up. I remember coming up with that, and then Happy was like, "Well, I saw it somewhere else." And I was like, "I didn't know that." But it's like, it's so hard. Like, it's such a simple idea. And of course, like, I always knew someone probably had done something similar. But like, it's hard to do things that are unique. But does that mean it's not interesting just because it's something similar to what someone else has done? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Going off but it's like, I just think it's quite interesting when you've got like an idea and then you kind of like branch the idea out and you kind of like see if it will work and what works best with it. I think that's what makes Minecraft enjoyable, is that you set your own goals. There's not, say, one end goal. Like, I know that they have like the Ender Dragon and stuff, but even when you kill those, there's still more things to do. You can go to the end city, you can get the Elytra, you can build like your own courses, fly around the world, make games with that. It's not limited.
Well, like basically what people assume is the end of Minecraft, defeating the Ender Dragon literally has an end in the name. Going to the end, it like unlocks more adventures for Elytra, for example, and shulker boxes. Like, if people were like us, building mini games and such, shulker boxes and shulkers and all those kind of goons, and Elytra unlocks so many more possibilities for mini games. It's not just mini games; it's like survival. Shulker boxes and Elytra are handy for that and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, even like, because like you've got like even like new building blocks when you go there. Of course, like you've got like the end stone, but then of course you've then got like purple. You've got things that like the chorus fruit. You can pick up the flowers, take them home, and make farm. And I know a lot of people might say, "Well, what's the point? Like, you've done everything now. What's the point?" But you can make your own farm then. Then you've got chorus fruit. You can do like cool things where you teleport like around the place. Like there's so many different things with like mechanics of the game, or like just like things in general. Like then you could do something regarding about trying to, I don't know, maybe like there could be a shulker that like hits you and then like you have to try and like land on platforms or something. Like like so many different ideas.
Yeah.
The limit though, like, is there ever going to be a limit? Because chances are like they will add like an update to the end at some point, and that will of course expand the end. But it's like I don't think there is an end goal. Like like there's people like me and you have played this for almost like was pretty much like over 10 years, and it's at the point where like like we're still doing it. Like, I feel like other games like Skyland, for example, like is a good game, but like once you've done the game, like there's not really much else you can do. Like, of course, like you can collect more characters and stuff, but like apart from that, like it's the same story over and over, and like it's too repetitive.
Well, I remember playing Journey. It wasn't too long ago. You might have been around when it came out actually. And it was more like story based. It was more of an experience than a playthrough game. But I think I won't. I don't think I'll like ever go play through it again. However, even though it was probably one of the best games I think I've ever played, I don't think I will play it again just because it was an experience that I've already had. I don't want it again. Basically, it's just be the same thing.
Yeah, I think this is where like Minecraft also like they've even got their own games, like of course they've got like story mode, which is like it's very similar to games like, as I said, like Skylanders, because of course like it's a storyline that like you play through. But the thing about story mode is, of course, you pick your own path. Like you don't just follow one set path.
Yeah.
The path, and then once you've completed the game, you could, if you want to, pick a different path and then see what that one would do. Like, and even then, like, yes, there's only limited like possibilities, and like there's only limited amount of times you could go back and play, but it still means that people will play. And of course, like like back then there was so many stories that were coming out every time. It was constantly getting updated. It wasn't a game where like like you play through once and then you got bored of. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I only played pretty much the only like the very first game, story mode. Also, I did not really. The game's really laggy. But
did you hear me having a little giggle then?
Yeah. That's why I thought I died. But yeah, I've only played the first story of story mode. I haven't played any other base because it's the only free one. So I haven't played any of the other ones, but I think if I was to go back and play it, I think I would probably have a different, like, especially because like I mean, if I wanted to, I could go and watch like YouTubers play the game and stuff, but like I don't feel like there's enough people doing it now where like it would pop up in my recommended or something to do it. I don't see the point really of like going back and playing those games. I'd much rather like play a game like this. Where it's like different.
Well, I remember, the thing was the start of lockdown. I went did like a week where I went, it was Map Monday, and I said every Monday I was going to build a Hunger Games map based around a different theme, and it all of this lasted about a week, and then it was I think something Tuesday, then I think it was one Wednesday, then 360 Thursday, then Fun Friday, and then Fun Friday was where I'd just pick a game and start playing through it, and I tried playing Minecraft story mode, got through all the free ones, and then it wouldn't work. It was like, oh, okay, you need to buy the new ones. Fair enough. So I went to buy them, and it wouldn't let me because the the site for it, because Telltale Games went bankrupt, obviously.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't let you buy the new stories. So I'm basically stuck with the free ones.
Yeah, and I think it's quite a shame because and this is where Skylanders fell. It's of course Skylanders thrived off of course you could, but it was the first proper Toys to Life game where you could buy say a character and play it, but then you could buy a different one and play the same story but with a different character. It was kind of the first game where you could bring your own toys to life. I know Disney tried doing a version, but it got heavily criticised because it was too similar to Skylanders. And
did they?
The problem with Skylanders was that for a while, so they did 5 games, and the games were really, really good. And then with the fifth one, which was the last one, the game was more about them wanting you to buy more characters rather than you wanting to play the game. They had, say, areas where, in order to access different areas of the game, you had to buy new Skylanders of a certain type, which meant that any of your previous ones from the previous game you couldn't use. You had to buy new funds, and it's where like it kind of fell was when they got a bit money hungry, and they were kind of like, well, actually, we want more money, so we're just going to make areas of the game which makes you have to buy more characters, because otherwise you literally cannot play through a different part of the game.
Yeah.
And that's why there hasn't been another game made since, because like they're just too money hungry. But I do enjoy. It's like there's another game. It's never played. So there is, of course, a Terraria as well. And the good thing about Terraria is that it's on every single, pretty much every single platform. Like, you can get it on PC, which of course has its own bonuses in terms of like mods and stuff. And then you can have it on terms of console, and of course you can do it mobile as well. So there's good ones. But the good thing about Terraria is that you are there's so much stuff in the game that you can play through it and have a completely different experience the next time you play. You can pick your class. Maybe, you think, oh, I've done melee weapons. I want to play through the game now where I use only magic weapons or range weapons or summoner weapons. You can, and even if you've done them, you can create your own challenges. Like, I'll never leave the surface. I will, I have to kill the bosses within a certain amount of time. There's lots of stuff you can do. And because there's so much stuff in the game, it's you won't ever get, oh, sorry, you won't find that you'll ever get more of those experiences, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, but the problem with Terraria is it's kind of a game where in order to get into it, you have to kind of have played it before, or you have to at least watch someone else play it beforehand, because otherwise you just don't get it. I don't feel like people will enjoy it if they just feel
let's pop on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the mistake I made. I didn't realise how grindy it was. Because obviously I'm doing my series on it. I didn't realise, say how grindy it was. So I actually put up a poll a while ago. You probably remember this. Should I continue the series after the Eye of Cthulhu? Weekly or not?
Yeah.
Because I am enjoying the game, but I'm only enjoying it, when I'm in that kind of mood, to properly grind.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with Terraria is that the menus are a mess. Because, what they have is, it's not so much the menu. I mean, the menus are a mess on console, I won't be honest. If you think that the 360 ones are not bad, but when they move to Xbox One, they tried making the menus it's a bit like Minecraft, to be honest, with what they did with the menus in Bedrock. They tried making them the same as the PC edition, and of course a controller is not capable of having to scroll all the way down to put a helmet, or to put an accessory on. You have to click bumpers to go through all the menus. It just doesn't make sense. And this, of course, Bedrock tried doing it where they're treating the menu same as the edition, and a controller just is not capable of having to do some things.
Yeah,
that the same as what you could do. But with Terraria, the thing is I think the biggest problem with Terraria is the wiki. But there's there's a bunch of different versions. There's the console edition. Then you've got the PC edition, and then you've got Legacy Console Edition, which is the 360, and then you've got the Team Modder, which is the modded version of Terraria. And on the wiki, it's such a mess because not versions are in sync. For example, if you want to search for what you can make with, say, wood, it will say on this version you can make da 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 da, but on this version you can also make da 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 da, and on this version you can't make da 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 da, but on this version you actually can make. It's I don't want to know that. Just tell me everything I can make, and just put all the versions up to sync, and then I'll just be happy.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they're making things so complicated. But yeah, my rant over about Terraria. It's a pretty.
Well, I guess. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, they had a big update like during lockdown, and it was their final update. It's called Journey's End, and it was like the final update of like Terraria,
And then
like
they
the
brought
final
out
massive
another one.
update. And it was huge. Like it literally like changed the game in like a million ways. Like for example, um, like there's now like new events. Like there's now like wind events and stuff. Like the trees now have like moving graphics, and it's awesome. And then they had there's like new bosses. There's literally a bullet hell boss in the game now. And like they just it was a really good update, but the problem was that like it just was too hard to find. Like the wiki was like so slow with updating that like you couldn't figure out what all the new stuff was unless you actually played through it. Which, like, of course, if like you have no, because they didn't really like give too many spoilers in terms of like, especially in terms of the bosses. Like they gave no new spoilers in terms of those, so it was like you really had to try and figure out like exactly what it was that like you had to do whilst you were playing, which I think kind of ruined it. But of course, that wasn't the game's fault. It was the people who created the wiki. Like that was their fault for being so slow in terms of updating the wiki. But yeah, but apart from that, it's a pretty good game, as I said. So what other games have you like played in like the past that like you either liked or didn't like? Like what's some different games?
Well, I mentioned Journey before, didn't I? That was like, I mean, I don't know, like how recent are you talking? Like how recent do you want, or just overall ever?
Like overall, like if there are any memorable ones, mention them.
I mean, the most memorable one, like Star Wars, because I completed that, and then I went through recently and completed it again in preparation for the new one, which is like the demo's out.
Yeah.
So
I think.
and then obviously another one's Journey.
Yeah.
Halo, just like Halo in general, like Halo Reach and Infinite are the ones I've played. I kind of ignored the campaign on Halo Infinite, just because like I just preferred the multiplayer. Like I'm the kind of person who just likes to hop on and play a game. Like Overwatch, for example. I enjoyed it when you could just hop on and play that, but they made it a while ago where you had to like make a party and like get like a bunch of people on. But like I just enjoyed it as a fun solo game.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned Journey already.
Yeah.
There's obviously Minecraft. we can't really do a bit of a talk like this without mentioning Minecraft.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, like I said we weren't going to mention the gameplay. I completely forgot that.
It's just when something funny happens, like I just can't help but laugh.
Back walked onto that.
I can't believe you just did that.
That'd be an interesting game, like trying to figure out like a pathfinder of campfires. Like some would nick like it's well. See, this is the thing. Like this is what I'm mentioning. You create your own goals. Like like we've literally like we designed like a game, and like we're halfway through building one at the moment. But like we've literally just like came up with another idea for the game whilst we haven't even finished building the one that we're actually building. So like you create your own goals, and I think that's why like do you ever think that like Minecraft will have like an end, like not like an end in terms of like the dimension, I mean like in terms of like the point where like it finishes?
I think Minecraft will finish just when you run out of ideas. That's the only way Minecraft can finish, but because it's a game powered by imagination, like basically powered by imagination. It's people who say Minecraft is boring. To be quite honest, like I'm not saying this just to defend Minecraft. I'm just saying, like, this is genuinely what I think. I think probably they're boring.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you can't think of any ideas to do with Minecraft, you know, like, it's not Minecraft's fault, is it? It's your.
Yeah.
I suppose it's not your fault either. It's just like, you know, people who say Minecraft's boring. It's like, it's not the game's fault you can't come up with any ideas, is it? You know, it's kind of their brain just doesn't work in, you know,
a creative manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they said their brain doesn't work in the correct way then, but you know.
Yeah.
That's probably a better way of phrasing it.
Yeah, I mean, like I do think that they'll get to a point where, like, I don't think the game will. I mean, it's quite interesting because, like, you know, like, of course, like, we played this game like a lot, and of course, like, it came out like when we were children. But like, even children like nowadays, like, they're playing this, and like, they're still, you know, like, talking about it, you know, when they're with their friends and stuff. I'm guessing anyway.
Yeah, there's you're one of their friends. There's like a new wave of like, you know, Dream and stuff. Dream wasn't around when like we were, you know, when we were, you know, like young. I won't say not. Well, I guess kids is probably, yeah. When we were kids, you know, we back in our day, we like. We had like Stampy, and you know we had the almost like original OG Minecraft YouTubers, and then like now there's the new wave with Dream and stuff.
Yeah,
isn't there? It's like, you know, kind of almost keeping the game alive.
Yeah, I mean, like, definitely, like, I don't agree with what people say in terms of like the Dream and like Tommy in it and stuff like that. They've become the new Stampy. Like, there will never be like a new version of like Stampy or Dan TDM or as it like Popular Mimosa or any of those, because they brought like something different that I don't think Dream and his little gang could like ever like appreciate. Like, firstly, they're not child friendly, and that's what like brought a lot of people to
I'm still
like
using
the
that.
was the fact that like you know, that they could watch like it became almost like family like YouTubers. Like, they could watch, like, you know, a family could sit down and enjoy these videos, and I don't feel like I can't see a family sitting down to a Dream like speedrun video,
Manhunt,
like, and like enjoying it or laughing to it. I can't see that, because they just don't have that same energy and spark.
Yeah, I mean, well, like, they probably have more energy, but you know, not, you know, like Dream's running away from people, whereas Stampy was just, you know, happily building with his mates. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I do definitely think as well that like I don't think these YouTubers will have a long shelf life. I think they'll be remembered like at this point. Like, I think, of course, like, you know, I mean, Dream did something that, like, you know, pretty extraordinary. He got to 20 million subscribers in the space of a year. You know, it's took people like, as I said, Dan TDM to get to 20 over the space of 10 years. So to get to like...
Stampy's got like 10, and he's been going since 2006.
Yeah, and he was like one of the biggest YouTubers of the last decade. So the fact that like he's managed to double those subscribers in a year, I think was amazing.
Well, I think, to be honest, I because like when obviously Stampy started, I think that you know, there was less people obviously using YouTube, but like now that there's obviously millions, probably billions of people using YouTube, it's a lot easier to build up a fan base quicker. But, you know, Stampy's heyday, he's kind of been and gone. People, you know, not, you know what I mean? Oh, craft table's right here. Not like necessarily he's dead. He's a dead YouTuber, but
yeah,
you know, there's you get what I'm saying? Like, there's like, it's harder for Stampy to build up, you know, a following now than when he was, you know, back in his heyday, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of like, you can kind of tell from like some of his videos now that like he's kind of reverting back to where he was in like 2012. Not in terms of like like I'd say like enthusiasm and like language, but in terms of like, like he knows he's got an older audience now, and so he kind of like fits his humor, and so like he never used to talk about like his like life in videos, like especially the Lovely World ones. And then like now, like he's talked about what he did with like his dog and like like in videos, and it's kind of like he never used to do that. So it's kind of like you can kind of see the change, but it's not like drastic enough to the point where like you could say this is too different. Like that you'd get, but I don't feel like you get bored. Like I do definitely feel like he needs to upload more because I think if he doesn't, I think people find it difficult to keep up. But of course, like like it's whatever, like you can't force someone at the end of the day to upload. But I just think like, I think there will get to a point where people, because at the moment it's literally just people who, if I read another comment on his video that says you were my childhood, I swear down, I think I will probably find where they live and then go and like shake them away because they're just like it gets too repetitive. Like, yes, I know he was your childhood, he knows you were his childhood, we don't need to hear it like every time.
Yeah, like I it's nice that people tell him, but I guess he was almost my childhood. Like I remember every day coming home, running, and what's the new Stampy video? But I don't say that to him because I feel like not that he's heard it enough, but that he's said it himself in live streams every now and again. He has to sit down and remind himself how important it is that he's getting so many messages like this, just because he kind of gets numb to it after a while. He has to do that. Do you get what I mean? So
yeah,
I just kind of don't bother with it.
I don't bother because like I don't feel like I need to tell someone that they were like important to me. Like if someone was important to me, they'd know. Like I wouldn't keep coming back if I didn't find them important. Like
exactly.
I don't need to tell someone that they were important to me. The person would already know. And like even if like they weren't, like it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate them. But I don't need to tell someone that I appreciate it. Like they already know. Like there's some people who like they need to be told like all the time that what they're doing is being appreciated. Whilst there's some people that like they'll think, well, I don't need to be thanked for, I don't know, doing like bringing in all these food for the homeless because I know that it is going to people who are grateful. I don't need them to come up to me and say thank you. And it's true, like at the end of the day, just because like they just because you don't say thank you doesn't mean you don't appreciate it. I think or like but as you said, like it gets a bit too repetitive, like, and I think it'll get to the point where it's going to become almost a meme. Like it's like he'll get known for being the and like I don't know,
being the you raised me guy.
Yeah. You raise me up. So I feel like that's the theme tune. I feel like someone should send him a GIF, like a music GIF. Of,
that should be the podcast theme tune.
Yeah, you raise me up. You raise me up podcast.
I think that's a bit too uplifting for us too.
But I do appreciate like some of the. I'm not liking his videos as much as I used to. Like I'll still watch them, but like definitely I feel
you'll force yourself.
No, but like I feel like it's ever since he rebuilt. Like I don't like how he's changing like his world at the moment. Like some parts I feel like they needed revamping, but like I feel like ever since he did that mob trap, it's kind of like because I think for a while he was scared to like revamp everything in fear that no one would like it. But like now that he's done it once, it's kind of like a fever. Like once you've got over the fear, you can just do it as much as you want. But he's just got to be careful that with doing that, he doesn't ruin people's like I guess, yeah, ruin people's like childhoods.
Yeah,
Because of course, like people will remember that, and like that house and stuff will become iconic. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't ruin it, because
I
otherwise,
think I'm not too happy, gonna be honest, about the mob trap. Just because, like, even though I think the new one looks great, I just kind of like, because I just don't do well with change. Like, there's I don't like really mention this in my videos, but do you remember when I don't know whether you were around or not, when I kind of stopped doing Lovely World on 360 and had a bit of a break for a few months while I was setting things up for Bedrock.
yeah,
Well, I was also like, while I was doing that, I was playing in the world and just kind of getting used to how things looked and felt. And like doing the intro, even like doing the intro and like doing building on Bedrock Edition. I was just the thought of it just went, just made me do that. So that was like half the reason I did that. But I guess it's almost like you said it. Once you get over the fear, it's a fever, because obviously, I mean, you know how I am with Lovely Worlds now. I've got like videos scheduled till like August, I think, off the top of my head. But like once I recorded, once I did that like first session, I think after the mob trap, I think I kind of got back into gear. I was like, right, let's do this. But like bringing it back to Stampy, I think he's going around changing things, and like you said, he's got to be careful, otherwise he's going to ruin people's image of what the world should look like.
yeah. Because of course, then like people who've got to like rebuild the world, they've then got to revert these changes, and it's kind of like like you don't really want to do that, because of course, like like as I said, like that bedroom, like I'm not going to say like it doesn't look good now, it does, but that bedroom was really iconic, and there was a lot of people who like whenever like they'd join like a recreation, that would be like the first place they would go. And I feel like with this new room they couldn't do that, because it's kind of like not what they were used to. That wasn't the you can change things, but like you can't
with moderation
change. Yeah, like you can moderate things, but you've just got to be careful not to change them too much, because otherwise that's when it ruins it, I think. But like at the end of the day, it is Minecraft. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to say I haven't destroyed things,
and it's his world.
Yeah, I mean, it is, of course, his world at the end of the day, like, but in a way it's not, because it's as much our world as it is his, because, like, like, at the end of the day, without us, he wouldn't have a channel. He wouldn't
well, he would, but he wouldn't have an audience.
Yeah, he wouldn't have the audience that he has, and he wouldn't have as much motivation to post. So in a way, it's kind of almost as much our world as it is his. But at the same time, though, like, like he created it. He decides what to do. It's just we're the ones who watch and then judge based on what we see.
Yeah. I think. Well, what do you think about the changes he's making to the house?
I like the new room. I do. I do like the new room. I want to build a room like that at some point in my own house.
Yeah, I know it's a bit pointless to say the new inspiration room inspired me, but the new inspiration room inspired me to like kind of do something like that in Lovely World. Like, not obviously. I think EJ's Lovely World is a bit of, already a bit too much of a copy of Stampy's Lovely World, just with the name and even the intro. But I still want to, at some point in the near future, design a room that just kind of looks like that, even if it is just using like the terracotta floor pattern.
Yeah. I do think it'd be quite interesting seeing like, like all the different change. Because like, I do like the new room. Have you noticed as well, like a lot of the things he built are wonky now? Like, is that me that notices that? But there was the Peak game. Like he did one of the sides was like like the redstone timings was different on one side compared to the other. Then Mattress Man is wonky. Like the green squiggly bits go higher than the blue one, and then the Slush Rush game is wonky because the back goes wider than it does on the other side, and then the Inspiration Room is now wonky because on one side it's wood closer than it is on the other side. So like, and I don't know if it's the ray tracing, like it makes it harder to see, but like it really, like every episode I'm watching to see what's going to be wonky. Because it's like such a, like everything now is wonky, and it's like before he used to be like he probably used to check before just to make sure everything was fine, but like now it's kind of like everything's just too wonky, and it really gives me frustrations. I've kind of like ruined it. You're going to be like looking in the next one.
Yeah, you've ruined it for me.
Right, so let's have a discussion. What do you think his next game will be? Because, of course, he said something about doing eggs. I've kind of came up with an idea for a game to do with eggs, and I want to see how close it will be to my idea before I actually take it into like my own hands. So, do you want to hear my idea?
Well, at the moment, yeah. Go on then.
So basically, it'd be, do you know the like the still shooting game where you're trying to pass it to someone else while the other team's defending? Like basically, you have to try and like throw an egg, so then it lands on your teammate's head. But then of course the other team's trying to get it to land on their head, and then maybe if they do, maybe something happens. That was my idea.
Okay.
But I want to see if it's close to that before I take it into my own hands.
Because if it's too close, obviously everyone will go, you copied Stampy.
Exactly. And this is proof. Like, I haven't watched it. You can look at the... I don't know when this is coming out, but it won't be...
This is coming out, like, in a week. So, like, we recorded this last Saturday.
Yeah. So for you, the video would have come out, like, the video we're talking about would have come out, like, on Wednesday. I promise you I haven't copied. If that is the case, I'm going to be so amazed.
I know.
But we'll see. In fact, if it does, I'm going to half credit it because
send him an angry Discord message.
Be like, you copied me. We'll see. But I don't even know what you call it.
Egg throw.
In a way, it is kind of an Easter game. So, like, if he does end up building in, it's not that I can just build in, say it's my Easter game for this year.
Yeah.
We will see anyway. But I do think that I do like the ray tracing. I do also like the I do like some of the buildings that he does. I think the games have improved. Like, I'm not saying that they were always bad, there weren't, but I think that definitely like the newer ones, like they are. Some of them are in like my personal like top 10. Like I like I like Peak. I like I do like Four Candles. I've got to say, like that game was so like weird, but it was good. Yeah. I like Mattress Man. I like the what's the game called? The Corridors game. And I like Trailblazers and Swoop as well. So I do like a lot of the other games he's built. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. I enjoy Ground Control.
I don't like that game. Like, I just find it frustrating.
I mean, to be honest, it probably holds a special place, to me, and probably a lot of people actually, because it was the first game that I built back. So yeah. I don't know. It's weird to say that it holds a bit of a fondness in me.
Yeah.
But it's also a bit of tiny bit of bitterness as well, just because obviously it's like the beginning of the new era kind of thing.
Yeah, like it were the first. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do kind of miss the old of course, like I think a lot of people do. Like it looks different now. It's we're not going to talk about that. It's too different, and I know it's not his fault. Like I know if the 360 got updated, he would more than happily continue on it.
Yeah.
I wish it were like a bit of side rant, but they updated the PS4 version to have like the village and pillage stuff, but yet they won't update the other versions.
I think, to be honest, for Lovely World, purely for Lovely World, like I wouldn't, I don't care for any of my other worlds. Pretty much anyway. I think for Lovely World, because of the lag on it, I think they should have updated the Xbox One Legacy Console Edition to at least have Update Aquatic, so then that way they could, obviously I could transport my world. Because the pretty much the only reason I transported it from Bedrock to what's it called? From 360 to Bedrock was because of the lag, because the world was just getting too framey. I'm all right with the long days, and I could even put up with the zombies. Say there was a zombie coming towards you, it'd move a bit slower.
Yeah.
But like it was the frames that did it for me. Like just moving around was just like so slow. So that
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just the fact that we were running out of ideas. Like, we'd planned for a while to move to Bedrock, but there were two reasons that delayed us. One was the fact that we just didn't have neither me or Happy had a Xbox One Edition version, because you can't buy it like on Amazon. The only way to get it is by either owning it already, getting a friend to lend it you if they have it, or to buy it from a store which sells old games, which games are like which you trend stuff, which is where I got mine from. And that is literally the only place where you can get it from. But also, like, we were just running out of ideas. Like, we were trying to build games, but it's so hard to build games when, one, the game is so laggy, and two, when you've got limited features.
Yeah.
like we were getting to the point where we just have glow squid. Sorry, we were getting to the point where we were like getting to like where we was just running out of ideas, and we were just building back and back like PvP games and stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you couldn't sprint if you were hungry. Swim, sorry. But yeah, I just found it really frustrating. And when we did move, like, the games definitely have improved since. Oh God, this is sorry. Like, I know I'm trying to not like talk about gameplay, but it's raining, so the drowns are attacking me on land. But yeah, I just find it frustrating. That
the drowns attacking you on land.
No, that they just didn't upgrade the version. I just find it weird. Like,
yeah.
They could have updated it at least. Like, I understand that it would have got to the point where like the 360 probably couldn't have handled it, but at the same time, though, like I feel like in a way it could have. So, I mean, at least up to Village and Pillage, I would have liked at least that. And then they could have like moved to bed. Like, I think that would have been a better idea rather than just saying Aquatic is less than.
I think Village and Pillage should have been on Xbox One edition as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I didn't get why they just stopped. Why didn't they update the Aquatic ones 360? Because the problem was, and I actually blame this for why my world is kind of a mess, is that the problem is like, say if you've got a world that's on 360 and it's been updated to update Aquatic, if you can't move that world to Xbox One and play in it if it's been updated.
Yeah.
So the problem
you just can't, like, if you save it.
Yeah. So the problem was that I couldn't move my world to Xbox, because what I wanted to do it for was I wanted to do it to keep old chunks, because I knew when we moved to Bedrock it was going to generate new lands, and I didn't want it destroying things on the edge. But because it wouldn't let me load it, it wouldn't let me save the old chunks. So when we moved to Bedrock, anything that was on the border basically got destroyed by the new land. And there was nothing we could do about it apart from just to rebuild what was there before. We haven't even completed all of it. There's still like parts which are a mess.
Yeah.
But like, it's just, I wish like that if they had that version, I could have enabled that setting to move it across.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I just kind of wish that feature was there, especially because Xbox One runs better than 360. I just don't understand why the worst version got the update.
Yeah. Well, what is your like version, like favorite versions of Minecraft from like least favorite to favorite?
I do. So from least favorite, I would have to say it's hard to say because really there's only two versions now. Like there's
included like all the ones you've played.
So in terms of the ones I've played, so I did play. Sorry, I nearly drowned. I did play. What's it called? I played the Pocket Edition. That was the first ever version I played. It wasn't Pocket Edition though, like how it was. It was literally when there was no hunger bar. There was no there was only zombies with the only mob, and the only block you could place was brick. It was like the very early alpha stage. So we're talking about 2012 here. And I literally that was the first version. And then I got it on Java, but my frame rate just couldn't handle it. And then I got it for my someone bought me the 360 version. And I played that. Me and my brother loved that. The first one I ever created, I've still got. But I call it my non-updated survival because one Xbox 360 I've got, which is at home, that Xbox basically that one basically doesn't update because it can't connect to Wi-Fi, so it's stuck on like the version where they added like wooden buttons and stuff. And then the other Xbox 360, which I've also got at home, that one can update, so that one's got like the most up-to-date version. So I've kind of got like two Xboxes at home, but like one of them updates and the other one doesn't, which is just strange. That's just kind of what it is, sadly. But yeah, so but that version was the first one I ever played, and then I kind of upgraded it onto Bedrock. So I'd say probably in terms of ranking, I probably would say Pocket Edition at the bottom, and then I'd probably say I'd probably put Bedrock then, and then I'd say, what would I then put? I probably would put 360, and then I probably would put Java at the top. Just because Java, like you can play most of my friends I made from Java. Also, like you can play mods. You can do like lots of different things, and like of course Xbox, like you're limited, but in a way that makes it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably put 360 and Java tied at the top. What about you?
Well, I think from best to worst or worst to best.
Well, let's say worst to best.
Worst to best. I think the worst version I've played. I mean, I'm gonna say PlayStation Vita. That's like not as like I've not played it as let's sit at home and play. I use it on like planes and such. If I'm designing stuff.
Yeah.
Then I've got the Switch edition, but I haven't actually played it. I need to get around to that. It's like a chore. After that, I'd have to say, PlayStation 3. But I haven't played that enough to like properly get into it. It just like when I loaded up the tutorial world, just because I was bored. I just think it. I just thought it was ran a lot worse than even Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Then after that, I think I'm reluctant to say Java just because I haven't actually played that enough. I've got a series it's getting recorded on that coming out, but I still haven't played it enough to form a proper opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to say I'm being forced. Actually, GG. Actually, no. I think I will put Java there just because, I had a few connection issues with it and such, with having to buy servers and such. And then Bedrock, and then PS4. These are legacy console editions now. PS4, Xbox 360, then Xbox One.
Yeah. Sorry, I've done some fishing and I got an enchanted bow, and I don't know where it's gone. So I'm trying to just search around for it. I don't know if it glitched and it pick up. Anyway, I forgot to mention I did have Vita. I did have the Vita version. I didn't play it much. It was really only, as you said, when I was away on holiday or something. I'd just play on it because it was the only version I could play on.
Yeah.
But the Vitas were quite good. Of course, you could it was kind of like a DS in a way, like a more modern DS.
Oh, do you remember the DS?
Yeah.
I used to I've still got my old DS, and it turns off, but it turns off. It turns on and off, but it doesn't really work properly. But when plastic gets old and it goes a cream colour, it's started to go that kind of manky cream colour now. So, but yeah, I was playing around with it the other week actually. What are you doing? What did you used to play on the DS? Foxy? Oh, his phone died. Right, let me quickly cut ahead until Foxy's back. Right, okay, we've got we've got Foxy back now. So yeah, we've gone past the hour mark. So want to try and kind of wrap it up together. Obviously, we've got wrap it up together. Wrap it up. If we've got any more, things you want to say, obviously, I'll allow you.
All right, I can't remember what we were actually talking about.
DS.
I've been talking about videos, and then
we were talking about the different version of Minecraft, and you said that the Vita is a modern version of a DS.
Oh yeah, we were talking about DSs, weren't we? I remember.
Yeah.
That. So what? Okay, interesting question. What color was your DS?
Well, it used to be white.
Okay, what do you mean used to be?
Well, when plastic gets old.
Yeah, aka Kylie Jenner.
And it goes that cream colour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
Okay, so we basically did a Kylie Jenner. So that's quite interesting. Mine was I can't remember what colour mine was actually. I'll have to get it out of the box. Out of the box, I'll have to go and find it in I think it's in the cupboard by our TV. We'll have to have a look and see if it's in there still. That was quite interesting though. I remember that they used to have the camera and stuff on it, and I used to really annoy people, and I just randomly just start videoing them. And then they'd be like, "Excuse me, please tell your child to stop videoing me." And then my parents would basically be like, "Oh, just." But yeah, that was quite funny. But I remember the DS. The DS was good.
Yeah, I also remember like the like my first like phone. I remember like it wasn't a phone to phone people. It was like a gaming device almost.
Yeah.
Like my first ever almost console was my dad's old phone.
Yeah. I remember my first phone was like a flip up phone, and it was like one of those where like, and all he had on it was like limited text, and was just like it literally just had like a couple games on it, and that was it. And like it weren't like a smartphone. It was just like one of them like flip, like what a starter phone, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So that was my first phone.
I remember mine was like I can't remember actually. I think it was a HVC or HMC or something. It was an Android. I've kind of stuck with Android for like, like that was HMV or whatever it was. HMV's a shop. HVC, I think.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of stuck with Android for like the rest, because that's just like when Apple users kind of switch to Android. So I'm like being really slow like on the gameplay here. If anyone's like, sorry, could I just say, sorry to anyone who's like watching the gameplay. I'm being really slow today. I'm kind of out of practice for Minecraft. Basically, I'm not out of practice in the sense that I don't know what the buttons do. I'm just a little bit sluggish with everything because I haven't played it in like a week or so. So, taking me a second to get back into the swing of things.
Like it's so many, like I remember like there's so many people who like they'll come back into like a game like this, and then they'll be like oh, I still remember how to do this and this. And I'm like, well, it's not exactly the hardest game in the world to learn.
Yeah.
Like it always amazes me when adults like they'll come and watch what you're doing, and then they'll go, I don't get how this game works. And it's like you move around, you place things, and you attack things. Well, like I can understand like how they don't get it, but like
how do you not get it?
Like they don't understand how you play it is the funny thing, and it's like, well, it's literally like the simplest thing in the world. Like if you understand Tetris, you will probably understand it. It's like so funny. Oh, I found grass underwater. Sorry, you never see that in this version. But yeah, I think I definitely think that. I think in terms of like games, I think that like I do think that because of course like PC has Steam, of course, which they use for like lots of their games. But of course, on here we can just get them all from the store.
Well, we've got like Game Pass, haven't we?
Yeah, which is quite handy. But the only problem is, of course, is that like you need like a subscriber membership and then like other things. But then again, you do with Steam, so
yeah,
kind of like
balances out.
Kind of yeah. But I think it's. I do think I think games will get better. I do think that like games have kind of like they do have like a shelf life, and then they go. I feel like games like this though, like they go on for a long time. Whilst like a game like Fortnite, for example, like that had its shelf life, and it was a very short shelf life.
Yeah, that only lasted, I think, it was a year or so, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, barely even a year though. Honestly, it took about. Like it was popular, and then like people just got bored of it. It was more the dances, I think, that made it popular more than the actual game.
Yeah,
but it wasn't the worst game. Like I've seen games where like they're literally horrific. Like it wasn't in any way like a bad game. It just weren't for me. I don't think I never played it. Like I tried playing it and. It just wouldn't ever load for me properly.
Well, thinking about bad games then, like what is like do you think the worst game you've like played?
I'd say like rip-off versions of actual games. Like you see it all the time in like PC on how like not PC,
Xbox, mobile.
yeah, on Xbox or even like on mobile as well. Like there'll be like for example like a Minecraft rip-off and it's like the graphics are horrific.
Yeah,
And then like the mobs will be the same and it'd be like they won't even have any animations when you hit them. They'll just stand still and just float towards you. And it's like the worst thing. Like it's just so confusing. And I just sit there thinking, how does this? Firstly, how the hell did this pass like the mark to say that it was ready to go? And secondly, like I just don't see the point. Like, why to rip off something that's popular? Why not try and like make your own like interesting game? I
yeah.
just don't get it. But I don't know. Games have their own show. What about you? What's the worst game you've ever played?
Oh, I don't know why I didn't like in my head like prepare an answer for this. I mean, can like sub games count as like mini games?
Go on then, yeah.
Because some like Roblox games come pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, Roblox. Oh my god, like Roblox. Like I played a lot back in about I'd say about 2016 during the summer, and
Same.
it was so much fun. Like I loved the high school one for some reason. Don't know why.
I've got
I think
an idea.
I think I just like telling people what to do. I think that's just. I think that's what I've learned. But yeah, that was a good fun. So talking about games, I think this will be like an interesting one to end on. Like I know that like you've built a lot of games and I've built a lot of games. So like what would you say is your favorite game that you've built and what would you say is your least favorite game that you've built?
Oh, least favorite. Normally I've got like I mean there's some which are ridiculously fun, but like they're only fun if you win.
Yeah.
Or there's some games where like while you're learning them it's just like, oh my god, I don't want to do this. But when you learn them it's really fun. Like Bridges, like the original one.
Yeah.
But I think the worst game I've built or I think can I say things in the Funland in like eFun?
Go on then.
So I'm only including things in like the nether part just because that's, I've still not really adjusted myself to like, eFun big, coming into the overworld. So I think the worst thing that I've built in eFun is the circus.
Yeah.
Because I think it looks alright, yeah. But I just think as a mini game, I think I would have done it in the town if I built it today.
Yeah.
And I think my favourite's got to be Bridges 2. So it's not out as this is going out, but there's like a sequel to my Bridges game coming out soon, and it is ridiculously fun.
Yeah. It is pretty fun. And let's just say watch the tournament.
Which one?
Exactly. There were like we did like 3 or 4 tournaments for that game.
Well, we did one. It didn't work, so I revamped the redstone. I hoped it would work, and then it didn't. So like that was 2, and then I did like another take of it. I did like another take of it for the second channel.
Yeah. It was. I mean, to be fair, they're like games like that, though. I don't.
Welcome back.
God, oh no! But like games like that, I don't mind redoing, like because they're fun. But like if it was a boring game, I'd feel like it'd be like, oh god, I've got to walk all the way back. Okay, speaking like going a bit off topic, have you seen the new stuff that they've added to the?
Well, to be honest, I don't look at like the betas and like snapshots and stuff because I like to see it when it's out. Like I remember, like. Phantoms, I remember because it was the start of lockdown. Village and Pillage, had just come out. So Phantoms had been there for a while. but I just didn't see them because I'm used to playing in Lovely World, where days move slowly at that point. Days move like really, at that point days were 50 minutes long in Lovely World. So I just never ever saw a phantom. But like I remember when Phantom, like I first saw a phantom, I tried doing Lovely World on Bedrock Edition. Oh, by the way, if you're watching the gameplay at this point, I'd stop because I can't really think of anything else to do. So I'm just kind of stood there in third person. I remember just trying like my Lovely World went corrupt on 360. So I thought, okay, save having to rebuild it all from like an old save. I've got like a pretty much up to date version on Bedrock Edition. So I tried that and I just didn't enjoy it. But yeah, which is one of the reasons why I was nervous when I, actively said this is the moment where I am going to be moving Lovely World to Bedrock Edition and, designed all of them things that would only work on Bedrock Edition because I was nervous that I just wouldn't enjoy it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, as I said, I just remember, like, building. It was like them food factories, like, by the park. And I just got hit and I turned around thinking it was whoever I was joined by, and there was just this thing flying in the sky. I just had no clue what it was. That was like my first reaction to phantoms. Anyway, to answer your question, no, I haven't seen any of the new things.
The reason why I mentioned it was because they've added a new compass, and it points to wherever your death point was last. So it's made from a new shard. I think they're called like echo shards, and you find them in the new ancient cities. And basically, the compass points to wherever your loot is on the floor, and that's why, like, I was mentioning it because now I've got to find mine. And I was just kept thinking, I'd love that right now, just that compass, like it just holds, and then it would just point to my loot. Pretty cool. I've not played around with it yet, but I'm hoping that.
Yeah, that sounds like something where you could like get your teammate to like fall and die, and then it's almost like a race.
Yeah.
To like get to some special item. But yeah, anyway, this podcast is 117. 1 hour and 17 minutes long, so I think it's best to end it here. It's also getting pretty late, so I need to go beddy byes. But yeah, next week there'll be another one of these, possibly on Minecraft, probably on a different game. But yeah, unfortunately on this podcast, I think everyone's watching. I'll see you all in the next one next week. Bye. Foxy, say bye.
I'm trying to find my loot.
Say bye.
Bye.